Let me tell you something honestly. I have been covering professional wrestling on this channel for a long time. I have seen championship changes that nobody predicted. I have seen returns that completely changed entire eras of WWE. I have seen betrayals that broke the internet in half overnight. I have seen faction reunions that made grown adults cry in arenas full of thousands of people. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, has ever produced the specific feeling that the Royal Rumble unmasking produced. Not just shock, not just excitement, something bigger and more complete than either of those things alone. The specific feeling of watching a long, carefully built, genuinely invested mystery finally arrive at its answer in the most perfectly chosen moment and the most perfectly chosen place available. The feeling of a story that respected its audience every single step of the way, finally paying every single person who followed it back with everything it owed them and more. The mask came off at the Royal Rumble. The face was revealed, and professional wrestling delivered one of the most genuinely satisfying moments this era has ever produced. Stay until the very last word of this video because I'm going to walk you through every single chapter of this story from the very first attack all the way to the moment the mask hit the ground. And the final piece of this breakdown is the part that makes everything else make complete sense. Do not go anywhere. This one is worth every second. To truly feel the weight of what happened at the Royal Rumble, you first need to understand everything that built toward it. Because great moments in professional wrestling do not simply appear. They are built, week by week, chapter by chapter, each piece adding weight to the next until the final moment carries the combined weight of everything that came before it. This story started with a single attack on Jey Uso, one unexpected assault that left the entire WWE Universe with the most powerful question the current Raw landscape had produced in a very long time. Not who won a championship, not who returned from injury. The oldest and most fundamentally gripping mystery available to any storyteller anywhere. Who did this? That question drove everything that followed. It drove every week of community discussion and theory building and passionate debate among fans who genuinely cared about finding the answer. It drove every segment on Raw where new clues appeared. It drove the specific invested attention that only a genuine, unsolved mystery can generate in an audience that is paying close enough attention. That was Chapter 1, and it was the foundation that everything else was built on top of. Chapter 2 was the mask itself. The visual identity of the mystery attacker became one of the most recognizable symbols of WWE in 2026. That masked figure moving through the shadows of the Bloodlines world carried a specific energy and a specific threat that existed completely independently of whoever was underneath it. The mask was not just a disguise. It was a character. It had its own presence, its own weight, and every time it appeared on screen the entire atmosphere of the building changed. Chapter 3 was the investigation. Roman Reigns bringing his institutional authority and his vast network of connections to bear on identifying the attacker. Seth Rollins contributing his specific analytical intelligence and his ability to see patterns that other people simply miss entirely. Two of the most capable minds in professional wrestling history working together on the same problem from different angles. Their partnership in this investigation was not simple or straightforward. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins have a history together that contains every possible human dimension. Brothers, former rivals, complicated allies, people who have been through more together than almost any other pairing in this business. That history made working together complicated in certain moments. But it also gave them something that no other investigative partnership could have had. A complete and total understanding of how each other thinks. And hunting someone effectively requires understanding how people think. Chapter 4 was this community. Every single comment, every theory, every piece of detective work that fans contributed to the collective effort of solving this mystery was genuinely part of the story. The theories that pointed toward the truth. The theories that pointed away from it. The specific passionate energy of wrestling fans who decided to take this mystery seriously and invest everything they had into solving it. This community was part of what made this story matter. And Chapter 5 was the Royal Rumble, where every previous chapter found its resolution, where the journey finally arrived at its destination, where the mask came off. Now let us talk about how Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins actually got to the point of knowing the answer. because understanding how they found the mystery man is just as important as understanding who they found. Roman's contribution was the institutional foundation of the investigation. His network, built across years of operating at the very top of professional wrestling, is the most extensive relationship infrastructure in the current WWE landscape. The Bloodline's insider access. Roman's ability to recognize patterns developed across years of navigating the most complex political terrain professional wrestling has to offer. And perhaps most importantly, the specific quality that is most uniquely Roman Reigns. The patience to wait for complete certainty before acting rather than moving on probability alone. Seth's contribution was the analytical layer that converted Roman's network information into something actionable. The visionary sees competitive situations from angles that other people simply do not think to look from. He identifies the small detail that everyone else walked past and builds from that detail to conclusions that seem completely obvious once he points them out but were completely invisible until he found them. Together they built something that neither could have built alone. A complete picture, a specific name, certain identification of the person underneath the mask. And they arrived at the Royal Rumble knowing, not guessing, not following a strong lead, knowing with the complete certainty that months of combined investigation had produced. The mystery man arrived at the Royal Rumble in a very specific state of mind. Confident, secure in the belief that the mask was still safe. That whatever Roman and Seth had discovered through their investigation was not enough for the specific public undeniable exposure that the Royal Rumble was about to deliver. Months of successfully maintaining the secret had created a particular kind of comfort, the comfortable feeling of someone who does not know they have already been found. That comfort was the final element the reveal needed, because the most powerful unmasking is not the one where the mystery man knows it is coming and fights against it with full awareness. The most powerful unmasking is the one where the moment of revelation is simultaneous for the person wearing the mask and every single person watching. Where the mask comes off and the face is visible and the person underneath it discovers in the exact same instant as the entire audience that the secret they believed was protected is completely and permanently over. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins built the reveal to produce exactly that moment. The specific combination of their preparation, the patience, the timing, and the unique high-energy atmosphere of the Royal Rumble itself all came together in the most perfectly constructed reveal professional wrestling has produced in this era. The crowd that witnessed it was already at maximum Royal Rumble energy, already emotionally invested in every dimension of one of professional wrestling's most celebrated annual events, already the perfect audience for the biggest reveal the year had produced. And when the mask came off, that crowd responded with the specific, complete, overwhelming reaction of people whose months of genuine investment in a real mystery were being paid back in full in a single extraordinary moment. Drop your reaction in the comments right now. Were you right? Did your theory land? Did you call it from the beginning, or did the reveal genuinely catch you completely off guard? This community deserves to celebrate this moment together because every single person who contributed a theory or comment or piece of detective work along the way was part of making this story what it became. Subscribe and hit the notification bell immediately because the story does not end with the unmasking. What comes next between the revealed attacker and every person they targeted across months of shadows is going to be the most personal and most emotionally charged chapter of everything that has come before it.